Welcome to our tutorial about setting up a click track. In this segment, we'll be learning how to configure Cubase's metronome. It's a very versatile and flexible tool with many options. The metronome gives you a simple way to lay down rhythmically accurate tracks. To help you keep the beat while you're recording or listening, simply activate the click button on the transport panel. This toggles the metronome click on and off. When it's enabled, the click button is lit up and the field next to it says On. As I mentioned, this panel here is called the transport panel. If you don't see it, press F2 or select the transport option from the main menu and then choose Transport Panel. If your transport panel doesn't show this metronome area, right-click on any tool on the transport panel and select Setup. The transport panel setup window opens. Make sure Master and Sync isn't listed as a hidden item. If it is, select it and click the Move Back arrows to make it visible again. Let me do that here. Click OK to exit the setup window. We could have also done it this way. Right-click on the transport panel and simply make sure Master and Sync was checked. Clicking this button here gives you 2 bars of clicks before recording. That's Cubase's default. We can change the number of bars of clicks that you get. This button is also lit up when it's on. Click it again to toggle off the pre-count click. You can set the metronome speed just under the click options. If you want the clicks to follow the tempo you've set on the tempo track, make sure the tempo button is lit up. The word track will display next to it. To learn more about the tempo track, see our tutorial later in this course. Basically, you need to use a tempo track if you want to use a metronome but your song changes speed. If you don't want to use the tempo track and you want to set the speed of the clicks right here, just disable the tempo button. It should toggle off and show fixed next to it. Now you can change or enter a new time signature. Just click in this field once to activate it for editing and type in your new time signature. Press Enter when you're done, and click in the field below to adjust the speed as measured in beats per minute. You can also use the scroll wheel on your mouse for this, or just enter the new speed and press Enter. Now let's learn how to make some changes to the way the metronome works. From the Transport menu, select Metronome Setup. The Metronome Setup dialog window opens. You can also get to this dialog window with a control click on the click button. That's a command click on your Macintosh. The Metronome Options area lets you pick when you want to hear the click. If you want to hear during recording and playback, leave both boxes checked. To hear while you're recording only, uncheck Metronome in Play. To hear during playback only, uncheck Metronome in Record. Remember, the click button will still need to be enabled on the transport panel in order for you to hear any clicking. If you want the clicks on a different value than your time signature setting allows, like on every 8th note instead of every quarter note, just check the Use Count Base option. Then use the arrows on the left and adjust the number of clicks per bar. Use the arrows on the right to adjust the beat subdivisions. In this box, we have the pre-count options. Pre-count clicks are what you get when the metronome starts clicking before you start your recording or playback. You can choose how many bars of pre-count you want to hear. These 3 radial buttons give you some options for the time signature of the pre-count clicks. Check the first button if you want the clicks to be in the same time signature as the recording starting point. Check the second option if you want the clicks to be in the same time signature of the project's tempo track. This is useful when, let's say, you're punching in at a place where the tempo changes and you want the pre-count clicks to be in the new tempo instead of the old tempo. If you prefer a custom time signature, check the third option and adjust the beats and subdivisions with the left and right arrows like we did before. Of course, never be afraid to press the Help button, which gives you at-a-glance definitions of many of the features on any setup window. Let's close the Help window. Let's go over to this area, MIDI click. Cubase lets you use a MIDI device, your audio hardware, or both to generate the metronome click. If you check here, the click plays through your MIDI device or plugin. If you check here, the click plays through your audio output. To hear the MIDI-generated click, choose a port and channel. Don't assign the click to any channel that you've got other MIDI data assigned to, otherwise your MIDI recording will contain those clicks. The click can have different high and low notes. The high note plays on the first beat of the bar, and the low notes on the rest of the beats. Here I've got C3. C3 is middle C. You can also adjust the velocity. That's MIDI speak for volume. Let's check out the audio click control area. We can choose beeps to hear Cubase's default clicks. We can adjust both the pitch and volume of these beeps. Just adjust the sliders. If you choose sounds, you can load your own custom metronome samples. Just click in the high and low fields to open the Choose Metronome Sound dialog window. Browse for your sound. You can also test. Click Open when you're ready. And you can adjust the levels of your custom samples using these sliders. When you're done making adjustments, click OK. The metronome setup dialog window closes. All right, let's test it out. Press play. We've got a 1-bar pre-count, and the metronome clicks according to the settings I've established on my tempo track. Let's press stop when we're done listening. If you're using the default Cubase beeps but don't hear the metronome even though you've enabled the click function, check your VST connections to make sure that the click is routed to a valid audio output. Just select Devices, VST Connections, and Outputs. In order for me to hear the default Cubase beeps, I need to toggle Click On in this column. Otherwise, Cubase won't have a place to route the click signal. And one final note. Make sure you're not recording the click signal. This could happen if you're recording audio from your keyboard that is also the source from your MIDI metronome sound. You could simply record the signal by accident. This concludes our tutorial on using the metronome.